remember in high school, synesthesia was our spelling, on our spelling test once. And the definition for that test was the mixing of the senses, which I think is pretty accurate. But the way I describe it is like in everyone's brains, we have these neural pathways that connect like point A to point B. And point A takes in all of our sensory information, and point B actually like processes it. And in a synesthete's brain, it comes in, it gets processed, and it also kind of gets into other parts of the brain. So your brain basically assigns like visual representation to sound, even though it's not there. If you were ever in elementary school and you had those like rulers that were like yellow and see-through and you held it up to your eyes and the world was all yellow, it's more like that. So it's not blocking my vision, otherwise I would probably never be able to see. My voice is orange. It is definitely like a constant, so it's probably the visual that I'm most used to. It tends to be very wavy, and it tends to stick to the lower portion of my vision, if that makes sense. And there's also, sometimes there's some spots when I get very excited. I personally have two types of synesthesia. The first one, which is the one I've been talking about the most here, is chromesthesia, which is seeing sound. That was red. Then I also have grapheme color synesthesia, which is, letters and numbers all have colors, and I see them as those colors. So 1 is yellow, 2 is green, 3 is blue, 4 is orange, and 5 is red. 0 and O, I don't have a human word for what color they are. I think it's a shrimp color. As human beings, we have a certain amount of rods and cones in our eyes, which means that we can see like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Mantis shrimp have more rods and cones than humans do. The idea is because they have more rods and cones than us, they can see colors we can't begin to comprehend because we just don't have those rods and cones. So sometimes I tell people that they're shrimp colors. I'm partially deaf. I have ADHD, so an auditory processing disorder. And then on top of that, I have synesthesia. So I have a really hard time with auditory processing. I've never had an experience where it was completely opaque, but I have had experiences where there was so much sound going on that it was impossible for me to see everything. Not necessarily because it was blocking it, more so because sensory overload, I just shut down. The first question everyone asks me every time is, what color is my voice? And like, I don't mind, but I'm just like, I really wish people would be like, what color are ducks?
What color is a duck?
Depends on the duck, Spencer.
Yeah.